What do you do when you find out that someone you love has cheated on you, or stolen from you, or lied to you, or stabbed you behind your back? Well, today, you're going to meet two people that this has happened to, and you're going to learn what to do, and more importantly, how to get your power back, because you can get your power back. You're going to learn today that you always have options, no matter how much this betrayal cuts you to the core. And I'm also going to share stories of betrayal that have happened to me. And I want to thank both of our listeners for agreeing to be here today and for allowing me to invite you into their private coaching session. Because by sharing their challenges and you getting to hear the advice in real time, they're really doing the work for all of us to create a better life. So when you listen with intention, because whether you're in this situation or not, you will get something amazing out of this. There will be an insight that strikes you right to your core. And this is also one of those episodes that I know you're going to love having as a resource, because you can share it with friends and family when they experience betrayal and you just want to help them. Because unfortunately, at some point, we all experience it. And that brings me to the very first question. It's from Sonia. And it's also where I am going to talk about this experience that I had recently of a big betrayal. And you better buckle up, because this first coaching session, it takes an unexpected turn near the end. And it's a doozy. Sonia wrote in asking for advice after listening to the episode that we released a while ago called The 3 Lessons I Learned During the Worst Year of My Life. And it's usually during the worst moments of your life that you get the biggest lessons. And so I share this story about how a year ago at the beginning of 2022, I found out that somebody that I trusted was in my business stealing from me. They lied to me to my face over and over and over. They lied to team members over and over. And when I finally figured out what was going on, I realized they had been doing this for a long ass time. This betrayal knocked me on my knees. I felt so stupid when I first discovered it. Then I felt hurt. Then I was furious. And it was painful. It was a painful lesson about trust. And it was also a painful lesson, but a lesson that I needed. I needed this lesson in order to be able to establish better boundaries and to level up as a businesswoman. Sonia heard me tell this story, and she wanted more. She wanted to learn more. She had more questions to ask. She wanted to know, Mel, how did you handle the person who betrayed you? What did you do? Because she was dealing with a betrayal in her life too.
Hi, Mel. I'm Sonia from New Zealand.
Hi.
How did you deal with the betrayals from your friends? Did you confront them and make peace with them in the end? Or can you move on without making peace in some way? And then as you just fill your life with people who are much better humans?
Excellent question. So in this particular instance, I did not confront the person, mainly because they had logins to a bunch of stuff related to our business. And I had to first, once I realized this was going on, get sort of the kind of realities of the digital business safe and secure. And so that took a couple weeks. And I didn't want to send up any red flags that any issue was going on while we did that. But then I made this decision. I thought, why would I confront this person? And what I realized in this particular instance is that I had already poured so much energy into the situation that confronting the person or having a conversation, that gotcha moment, I figured it out, I know what you did, it wasn't actually worth it. It was going to cause so much more stress and negative energy in my life to look backwards that I chose not to say anything, to protect my business, to learn the lesson and move on. And here's what I have to say. I wouldn't necessarily do the same thing in a different situation. I mean, the person that stole all this money from me and damaged my business, they were in a different country. So even though I could have hired legal counsel and I could have gone after this person. When I thought about the time, the energy, the just emotional cost of doing that, it was too expensive to pursue it. Sometimes your peace of mind is worth way more than the money that you would get by confronting something. And that's what I determined for myself. But here's the thing. There's a lot of cases for you personally and for me where the right thing to do is to confront somebody. And there have been situations that I've been in the past where I did get a lawyer involved. So what you need to do personally, and this is what I would recommend, is if you experience betrayal, whether it is from a friend or a spouse or a boyfriend or girlfriend or partner, or it is somebody in your business, you got to ask yourself, okay, what's my goal here? My number one goal is protect my business, protect my peace, learn this lesson. What's in it for me? Am I trying to fix the person? Am I trying to make them wrong? Am I trying to repair the situation? Am I looking for a gotcha moment? Do I deserve to make this wrong or right? Do I need to go after them legally? And then you got to ask yourself, well, what do I need to say for closure? And should I do this because it's going to make me feel confident? And there may be a time in your life where you have to hear yourself say out loud to the person that betrayed you, I know what you did. And I will not have you in my life because I will not surround myself with people who do this kind of thing. And I forgive you, but you're not welcome back in my life as a friend, as a partner. You can just shut the door after that conversation. You can forgive somebody. You can call them out. And you don't have to let them back in. You don't have to give them a second chance. And so it comes down to what you want out of this. And if your goal is to stay in the relationship, to use this betrayal as the door that needed to get kicked open in order for you to face stuff that's not working, if you do decide to stay in the friendship or the relationship, you have to have a conversation. You have to explain that you know what they did, and that you know what they're doing is wrong and how their behavior is impacting you. And if you don't know how to start that conversation, let me give you another tip. I need to apologize for something, which always kind of makes people feel a little like, oh, what? You did something wrong? So they're not going to be defensive. And then you say, yeah, there's something that's been bothering me, and I need to apologize that I didn't come to you sooner with this. And then you can also say, and you might not even know that this is happening. I take responsibility that it's impacting me this way. And then explain how their behavior is making you feel. You're not attacking them. You're not telling them they did X, Y, and Z. You're explaining how it's impacting you. And based on their reaction, you will know whether or not this is somebody that you want in your life. If the reaction is, that's ridiculous, I didn't mean that, you're being too sensitive, bye. That's what you do. You got all the information you need. But if the reaction is, I had no idea you felt that way, I feel terrible. Tell me what I can do. Like, that's a friendship that you want to save. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I've shared anything with how any of their reactions made me feel or the impact it had on my life, they just simply aren't interested.
Yeah, well, there's all you need to know, right? And so here's the second piece of transformation that I want for you. You ready? There are patterns in life that repeat until you get the lesson. And for me, the biggest lesson about this betrayal by this person in business is that when I look back through my life and I think, what other relationships or friendships or colleagues, anything, what other relationships had the same feeling for me as this relationship? I can see a very similar pattern of the kind of person that I was drawn to, or that was in my inner circle, or that, I was a really good friend with. And then all of a sudden I realized, oh my gosh, this person's mean and they gossip behind people's back. And now I'm scared because they're a friend of mine. And I don't know how to get out of this. I could see a very distinct pattern. And so maybe the lesson for you goes even deeper, which is not only when something's working or feels off to say something, notice somebody's reaction. And that tells you whether or not this is a friendship to lean into or one to pull away from. But the other lesson could be, are there particular personality types or relationship dynamics that draw you in that turn out for you to not be good for you?
I feel like I've learned the lesson because this is with my ex-husband and everything that happened. And so I just, he keeps reaching out to try and have a friendship going forward. But because of everything that happened, I'm not interested.
Yes. And maybe your husband does need to have a conversation with them for his closure. Maybe he doesn't understand how this is impacting you completely. You see, you don't need to have a conversation with somebody in order to have closure. We often chase other people down and we say we want closure, but what we're actually looking for is confirmation, or we're looking for some sort of assurance. We want to feel better. You can do that for yourself if you're very clear about why this isn't working for you and what your boundaries are. And it sounds to me like you're very clear. You don't need to have a conversation. You've already had the conversation, and their behavior in it told you everything you need to know.
Yeah, that's the feeling, because anytime I bring anything up about how anything's impacted me, it just brings up all of the old stuff again, and it's just too hard. So I just have to let them all go and just let my life carry on.
Yeah, and you also, is there a request you need to make of your husband?
As my ex-husband.
Like, is he... Oh, your ex-husband, excuse me. So he was friends with them, so he's not part of this, really?
No, he is. It was like the stuff that happened that ended my marriage.
Oh.
With my best friend.
Oh, so is he with your best friend?
He is, yeah. He came out as bisexual, so he's with both of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And that's exactly why you don't need to have them in your life.
Yeah.
And you don't owe anybody an explanation.
Yeah.
You deserve peace.
It's just really good for me to hear that I don't need to resolve anything. I can just move forward.
Yeah.
Knowing in the peace in me that I don't want to have, friendships with people who are like that. I've got so many beautiful new humans in my life, and just, experiencing that kind of love and friendship from my new friends and my new boyfriend. It's really beautiful.
Wonderful. That's great. I'm proud of you.
You've helped a lot. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you being here, but you keep the credit because you did the work.
Thank you very much for all you share.
You're welcome. And what I need to say to everybody listening is, if you've been broken up with, or if you've got a friendship where the behaviors turn toxic, or you've got something going on, you don't need to have a conversation about it. Their behavior has told you what you need to know. If you're still questioning it, have the conversation in the way that I suggested, where you apologize for withholding this. You tell somebody how their behavior or lack of behavior makes you feel, and then watch their reaction. If they're caring and kind, wonderful. If they're not, wonderful. You know what to do, which is close the frickin' door on that relationship. Do not accept that behavior in your life, period. Not from somebody that's not resourceful, and not from somebody who's willing to do the work to repair this. What do you do when you find out that someone you love has cheated on you, or stolen from you, or lied to you, or stabbed you behind your back? Well, today, you're going to meet two people that this has happened to, and you're going to learn what to do.